Ukrainian naval drones have been keeping the Russian Black Sea Fleet in fear for a long time. However, recently, not only Russian ships but also aircraft are afraid to appear in the Black Sea. The head of the Main Intelligence Directorate of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, Kryl Budanov, said this. "You see the air defense missiles, and that speaks for itself. We are starting to push, so to speak, the Russians out of the air over the Black Sea," Budanov said in a comment to journalists. Answering a question about how they managed to shoot down the Russian planes, Budanov said that this became possible thanks to new Ukrainian technological solutions. He means Magura V7 maritime drones. Recall, for the first time, Ukraine's military intelligence has demonstrated a new generation of Magura V7 maritime drones, the same ones that recently shot down 2 Russian Su-30 fighters. Ukrainian Magura drones of previous generations successfully hit 16 Russian ships in the Black Sea, 9 of which were destroyed. And on New Year's Eve, December the 31st, 2024, they destroyed 2 Mi-8 helicopters and damaged a third for the first time. As for the Magura V7, the new family of maritime drones shot down 2 Russian S-30 fighters for the first time in history. It happened on May the 2nd, 2025. According to Andriy Yusov, a representative of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, over the past 3 years, Magura drones have become a modern tool that is also constantly being improved. However, the key to success remains the professional work of the DIU's fighters. According to the fighters of Group 13, the result was that the Russian fleet was pushed out of the western part of the Black Sea and driven to permanent deployment points. Now the Russian ships are constrained in their actions and do not fulfill their intended tasks. Magura V7s are capable of covering a distance of about 800 kilometers, armed with turrets and missiles for air targets. You see air defense missiles, and it speaks for itself. We are beginning to push the Russians out of the air over the Black Sea. Chief of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, Kryl Budanov, told reporters. Asked how exactly the Russian planes were shot down, he said it was thanks to a new Ukrainian technological solutions.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky joined the leaders of dozens of European countries and organizations for a one-day summit in Albania's capital Friday to discuss security and defense challenges across the continent, with Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine at the top of the agenda. According to Associated Press, on the eve of the summit in Tirana, Russian President Vladimir Putin spurned an offer by Zelensky to meet face-to-face in Turkey to try to secure a ceasefire with Moscow, sending a low-level delegation instead. Russia is the one major European power not invited to the summit, along with Belarus, its neighbor and supporter in the war with Ukraine. The next EPC meeting will take place in Denmark later this year. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said on Friday Russian President Vladimir Putin's absence from talks with Ukraine is clear evidence he does not want peace. According to Associated Press, speaking in Albania, Starmer said Putin is dragging his heels after spurning an offer by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to meet face-to-face in Turkey to try to secure a ceasefire. Zelensky is joining the leaders of dozens of European countries and organizations for a one-day summit in Albania's capital to discuss security and defense challenges across the continent, with Russia's so-called military campaign of Ukraine at the top of the agenda.
Well, I think that what we saw yesterday and overnight is yet more evidence that Putin is not serious about peace. He's been dragging his heels, and I think it's really important, therefore, that we have absolute unity with our allies. We'll be working on that again today to be clear that there must be a ceasefire, but also to be clear that should there not be a ceasefire, then we will act together in relation to sanctions. But for me, this is clear evidence that Putin doesn't seriously want peace. He's dragging his heels, and that's why today is a really important opportunity to work with colleagues to make sure that we are absolutely united, and President Zelensky will be here today, so we will be discussing the situation with him. In the last 2 weeks you've seen the UK do a trade deal with India, really important for our country and our national interest. Trade deal with the US, again important for our country and national interest, and positive going into Monday. I think that this is an important moment for our country that will be measured in the benefits to working people and their living standards. But we're positive as we go into the summit on Monday. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We'll get over the thorny issue, the fishy ones.
Turkish Foreign Ministry officials said the three-way meeting between Turkey, the US, and Ukraine had begun. According to Associated Press overseen by Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, the US side included Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy for Ukraine Keith Kellogg and Ambassador to Turkey Thomas Barak. Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha, Defense Minister Rustem Umerov and head of the Ukrainian Presidential Office Andriy Yermak represented Ukraine. The latest push to end the fighting got off to a rocky start on Thursday, when Russian President Vladimir Putin spurned an offer by Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky to meet face-to-face. Delegations from the two countries also flew to different Turkish cities and put together teams of significantly different diplomatic heft for possible talks. Although expectations for a possible Putin-Zelensky meeting were low, the apparent lack of traction in peace efforts frustrated hopes of bold steps being taken in Turkey toward reaching a settlement.